Thanks, Minister. I'm going to bring you back to October 2018 when I first met the Autism School Dublin 15 committee, who were campaigning for a dedicated special school. And they talked about how ASD units wouldn't meet the complex needs of all their children, many of whom are non-verbal, have behavioural challenges, might be flight risks, can suffer violent outbursts, self-harm, or experience sensory overloads, all of which can be overwhelming. Mainstream schools in their curriculum weren't the appropriate environment for them, and the result was that they were often on reduced hours or tragically expelled through no fault of their own. By very young ages, these children and their families had been through so much and got so little because the system didn't support them and didn't see them a lot of the time. This group of parents, principals and professionals, through surveys and questionnaires, helped everyone, including the NCSE, to see all of these children, whether they were in the wrong environments, on reduced hours, home tuition grants, or who travel long distances outside Dublin 15 and Dublin 7 to access education. And they know better than anyone what the children need and still do. In February 2019, the DTL-ETB came on board and offered a site for a special school at Riversdale Community School and as a patron. In April 2019, the official letter went to the Minister for Education, Joe McHugh, outlining the insufficient special school and special class capacity in Dublin 15 for September 2019 and beyond. In September 2019, Danu was opened and they welcomed their first student on the 28th of November in temporary accommodation on the site of Hansfield Educate Together Secondary School. They have worked incredibly hard to look after these children, even through COVID, and also looking after them and caring for them and teaching them skills in an environment and a building that isn't purpose-built for vulnerable children with complex needs, while sharing a site with a secondary school. Hansfield Educate Together Secondary School was only ever to be temporary accommodation, and the plan was to move to Riversdale Community School, also in temporary accommodation that would require appropriate work to make it suitable and safe, while a new school building would be constructed on a site beside it. And they were told that that new school building would take about 5 years. Everyone was on board, even though the temporary accommodation was never going to be ideal, even though they're sharing a car park and vehicle access with a mainstream secondary school, even though many of these children are flight risks and require safety procedures and protections all of the time. But it does now seem that the temporary plans at Riversdale are to become permanent, to include 6 classrooms and a staff room, principal's office, secretary office, toilets and other rooms, and that the classrooms will be smaller than what they currently have because they are dealing with existing rooms. They'll be able to accommodate 4 children. They currently accommodate 4 children, but that will increase to 6. And that there would be more work on the site. They will have a separate door. The buildings will be divided, but they'll continue to share the same site. Even though the adoption of older buildings isn't necessarily ideal for children with complex needs, and from a basic perspective, thinking about safety and windows that need to be high up. And even though there is a site behind the school that could accommodate a purpose-built, dedicated school building and school grounds for children with specific and complex needs. So, Minister, I just would welcome a statement on this. The school communities would feel that they really do need an appropriate site, the staffing, the supports and a school. Thanks a million.
Thank you very much, Senator Curran. Minister.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and for your very important contribution in relation to this matter. As we know, Danu Community Special School was established, as you said, in September 2019 in Dublin 15 in your constituency. And I think you will accept, Senator, and obviously there's a huge amount of work still to be done, but from your initial meeting with the parents back in 2018, there has been a substantial amount of progress. However, it was obviously necessary progress, and as I said, there's still more to do. You've quite correctly pointed out that Danu was under the patronage of Dublin and Dún Laoghaire ETB, and it was originally to cater for 40 students. The school now, I understand, has an enrolment of 23 students, and it originally took, as you said, the first students on the 28th of November in 2019. The school was temporary and is temporarily co-located in Hansfield Educate Together Secondary School, and it will be relocating to its permanent location on the site of Riversdale Community College for the forthcoming school year. And I know that you're aware of that, Senator. And I am pleased, though, to inform you that a design team has been appointed to oversee the works required to facilitate the school's occupancy of a section of the Riversdale building in phase 1 of the relevant works. And it is intended that a phase 2 development will be undertaken subsequently. And the department understands that the ETB is committed to the development of both schools now and into the future. And the Riverdale site, as you said, is in the ownership of Dublin Dún Laoghaire ETB, and relocating the Danu Community Special School to the Riversdale site is consistent, first of all, with the Public Spending Code in the context of maximising value for money, which also includes maximising the use of state assets. And second of all, it's consistent with the use of a shared educational campus, which is the preferred model of the future development of educational infrastructure where feasible. And thirdly, the building project is being funded under the department's Additional Accommodation Scheme 2021. You are aware, Senator, that approval was granted only in February of this year for the refurbishment of 1,150 square metres of existing permanent accommodation in Riversdale Community College for the benefit of Danu Community Special School. And you quite correctly outlined the various accommodation that will be included in that: the 6 general classrooms, the staff room, the principal's office, the general office, a meeting room, a multi-sensory room and a general purpose area. And it also includes the relocation of an existing home economics room and a science lab, and also an upgraded work to internal doors and the alarm system. It's important to note, Senator, that the project is currently at stage 2A of the architectural planning process, so that's the detailed design. Planning permission is not required for this either, and both the fire safety certificate and the disability access certificate have already been secured. So it is anticipated by Dublin and Dún Laoghaire ETB that this project will advance to tender stage in the coming weeks. And I understand from your contribution that this isn't ideal for the community, but I do think it is a lot of progress from where we were originally, and the project was approved with a view to securing the long-term needs referred to by the Senator. And I can assure the House that I'm very conscious of the constraints faced by the school in recent years, and I would like to assure the House that Dublin and Dún Laoghaire ETB is fully committed to providing sufficient and suitable school accommodation for Danu Community Special School. And even if a new build was to happen, it would take a number of years, and in that situation we need to have interim accommodation. And I can assure the House this is being fully supported and facilitated by the Department of Education.
Thank you very much, Minister. Senator Corey, you have 1 minute to reply.
Thanks, Minister. Yes, I'm very appreciative of the work that has been done to date and the action that has been taken. But there is a strong feeling that a separate site is what is needed for this school, and in fact that is what that's what parents were led to expect. And when you look at the numbers for the area, they're only going in one direction. So I know how difficult it is to get a school site in Dublin 15. Here is a site that we would have, that we could potentially build a dedicated state-of-the-art school that didn't just cater to 40 students for now, but up to 100 students into the future. And when you think of the money that has been spent on home tuition, on bus transport, that would be great value for money. And also in terms of the safety for the kids. I mean, I would feel that it would mean that the staff could spend more time working on their independent life skills rather than thinking about the safety of sharing a car park with the secondary school and the complex issues that are involved in that. So while I appreciate that there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, I would also request that maybe this could be re-looked at.
Thank you, Senator. Minister.
Thank you, Senator Curry. And just to reassure you, I will bring your comments, obviously, to the attention of Minister Foley and the Department as well. But if I can take this opportunity just to set out the work that we have done in relation to special education. I mean, it is a priority for this government, and we're putting in the investment to ensure supports and school places are there for every single child. We're spending over €2 billion on special education this year. I've already announced the opening of 2 new special schools for next September. We have an additional 1,000 SNAs in the system this year. We're providing an extra 1,500 special class places for September, and the number of special classes in Ireland has actually increased by 235% since 2011. We reopened the in-school special education first as a priority after COVID school closures, and from this year there's a huge commitment in that all new school buildings will include SEN facilities into the future. We cannot underestimate the impact of that, and we're also preparing for an expanded summer provision programme for students with additional needs, and we've made good progress and the work goes on. So, Eraig leis an obair. Go maith agat.